Here's your wrestling news for August 13th, 2021. And your headlines for today include: bold statement from WWE 2K22 about their latest release. Keith Lee finally reveals the real reason behind his recent WWE absence. Ember Moon's condition after being pulled from WWE NXT. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae expecting first child. Is Triple H done with NXT? Backstage details on Triple H's role in NXT amidst rumors of rebranding. Backstage news on Hangman Page's absence from AEW TV. Wrestling legend and trainer Dominic DeNucci passes away. He was just assaulted. Booker T on brutal backstage fight between two WWE stars. CM Punk on the current WWE product. Let's see how they do without me. Roman Reigns makes a bold statement on getting in trouble for recent non-PG promo line, and more. We are starting today with video game news as WWE 2K20 failed to deliver, causing the developers to take an extra year to make sure their next installment is a hit. WWE 2K22 was announced during WrestleMania 37, but fans have been given very few details about the game until this week. Brian Mazik of Forbes recently revealed more details about the game, which is said to be fantastic and exactly what wrestling fans want. He writes, "I've been told that the game is playing fantastic and that the gameplay engine is completely rebuilt. Also heard that the controls are much cleaner than they've been before. The last thing that I heard about this is that this feels like a wrestling fan's wrestling game." This is certainly good news for gamers and wrestling fans alike, especially after WWE 2K20 was universally panned, and we'll have to see for ourselves how fantastic 2K22 is when it releases later this year. At the start of this year, Keith Lee was on the cusp of becoming WWE's next top star, challenging for the WWE Championship on the first Raw of 2021. In February, though, Lee would vanish from TV and only return to Raw in recent weeks, nowhere near the main event scene. During his hiatus, Lee promised he'd explain why he was gone for so long, and that explanation has finally arrived. In a video posted on Twitter, the Limitless One explained that he tested positive in January, and his fiancée Mia Yim also tested positive because she refused to leave his side, which cost her a spot in the Women's Royal Rumble match. Lee added that following his February 8th Raw match with Riddle, he received a phone call from WWE saying that he had inflammation in his blood, which turned out to be in his heart. He explained, "Some people may have experienced this thing where there's an inflammation in the heart or in the lungs. For me, it was in the heart, and that led to very scary times. I was basically forbidden from training or any activity outside of a light walk, so there was a fear that doing more than that there was a chance that I could just up and pass away." Lee is thankfully back in the ring and is looking to rebuild his career after this terrifying health scare, and it just goes to show that a wrestler's life is far from easy, even out of the ring. Ember Moon knows all about sudden hiatuses, as she was meant to face Sarray on this week's NXT, but was later deemed medically uncleared to compete. On Twitter, Moon said that she was angry and gutted that she wasn't facing Sarray, and now we have an update on the Sheenom's condition. According to a report from PW Insider, Moon was backstage during NXT, and the injury she suffered is not considered serious. Currently, there's no timetable on when she'll return to the ring, but it seems that the former NXT Women's Champion won't be out of commission for too long, despite this latest injury. More from the Gold brand now, and we're sending our congratulations to Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, as the wrestling power couple are expecting their first child. Yesterday morning, Gargano made the happy announcement on Twitter, adding that the child is expected in February next year. That tweet included a photo of Gargano, Candice, and their dog, as well as an ultrasound of the next member of their family. With Candice pregnant, fans shouldn't expect her to be wrestling for a long time, and we're sending our congratulations to the happy couple on this joyous news. The Gargano's pregnancy announcement is some much-needed good news for NXT, as tensions were running high backstage this week following last week's mass releases and WWE's decision to rebrand the Gold brand. That rebrand, orchestrated by Vince McMahon, will see younger, bigger wrestlers be signed instead of the smaller, veteran performers fans are used to. This is part of McMahon's plan for NXT to once again become a developmental brand for the main roster, and there's been questions as to what this means for Triple H. According to PW Insider, the game is still technically in charge of NXT, at least during the latest show, but decisions are being made without him being involved. It's also been reported that Triple H is contemplating disassociating himself from NXT, believing that he's done all he could for the Gold brand, only for his creation to be usurped by his father-in-law. We already know that Triple H and Shawn Michaels had no say in the 13 names released from NXT last week, as despite him still being the head of the Gold brand, NXT simply isn't Triple H's show anymore. AEW news now, as Hangman Adam Page won't be challenging for the AEW World Championship against Kenny Omega at All Out, and reportedly won't be on the show at all. In fact, it's been nearly 2 months since Page's last victory, defeating Powerhouse Hobbs on the June 26th Dynamite, but there's a reason for his absence. According to PW Insider, the plan had always been for Page to take a hiatus, and he's spending the time with his family ahead of his first child being born. In early June, Page confirmed that he and his wife Amanda are expecting their first child together, and there's no word yet on when Page will return to action. What we do know is that the Hangman is on the poster for the September 22nd Grand Slam Dynamite from New York City, and time will tell whether he actually makes it on the show. We've got some sad news to report next, as wrestling legend Dominic DeNucci has died, aged 89. Born in Italy, DeNucci made his wrestling debut in 1958, aged 26, and later in his career wrestled as Dominic Bravo, the kayfabe brother of WWE legend Dino Bravo. Eventually making his way to the WWF, a precursor to the WWE, DeNucci captured their International Tag Team Championships with Bruno Sammartino and later challenged Pat Patterson during Patterson's inaugural Intercontinental Championship reign. Not just a wrestler, DeNucci later worked as a trainer and is perhaps best known for training the likes of Mick Foley and Shane Douglas, and we're sending our condolences to DeNucci's family and friends at this sad time. Now, earlier this week, former WWE superstar Rene Dupree claimed that Goldberg injured him in a match, but the WWE Hall of Famer does have some supporters in the business. Dupree isn't the only wrestler who believes Goldberg is unsafe, but on his podcast, Booker T defended the former Universal Champion with a strange attack on Dupree. He said, "Goldberg's a friend of mine, so I've got to defend him on this. This Dupree is the same guy Bob Holly beat up. I wouldn't even call it beating up. He was just assaulted. He didn't even try to fight back." It's no secret that Bob Holly hazed wrestlers, which earned him the moniker of being a bully in WWE, but the fact that he assaulted Dupree doesn't make Renee's criticism of Goldberg any less valid. Holly's assault on Dupree came after the Frenchman borrowed Holly's rental car and got a speeding ticket, which eventually led to Bob having to appear in court. Jim Ross, who was head of talent at the time, has since said that he'd sometimes have to look the other way, and Holly's assault on Dupree, which started with some real punches in the ring and continued backstage, was one such time. Dupree isn't the only person who isn't fond of Goldberg's work, as Matt Riddle and Bret Hart have both hit out at the former Universal Champion, but Booker T will always be around to defend his friend. CM Punk news now, as rumors persist that he'll be debuting with AEW as soon as next week's Rampage, but the former world champion has had plenty to say this week about WWE. Speaking on the Sunday Night's Main Event podcast to promote the season premiere of Heels on Starz this Sunday, Punk said he's not watching any WWE product right now, but added that the company have some awesome people who are great in the ring. The former WWE superstar did say that he watched some WWE when he worked as a Fox analyst for WWE Backstage, but that hasn't been the case for a very long time. Punk added that the company must be doing something right, as they're the most profitable they've ever been, but said that he'd much rather show love to something than try and tear WWE programming down. This was all surprisingly diplomatic for Punk, who's not exactly known for being so diplomatic, and if he does join AEW next week, we'll have to see how this philosophy works in a company that's never shied away from attacking Vince McMahon's promotion. And we're ending today with SmackDown, and on the post-Money in the Bank episode of the Blue Brand, Universal Champion Roman Reigns had some not-so-PG things to say about John Cena. In a promo where he pointed out how Cena has returned with the same music, entrance, promos, and brightly colored shirts, Reigns compared his SummerSlam opponent to missionary position every single night for decades, a line that got a massive reaction from the fans. That line was ultimately cut from rebroadcasts of SmackDown, including being removed from YouTube, and in an interview on the Sports Illustrated Media podcast, the Tribal Chief was asked if he went off script. He replied, "There's a portion of my career where I would either read a script or adjust a script as much as possible. For a while now, especially since I've come back since SummerSlam, I'm not scripted. I say what I want to say and what I feel. Even if they tried to say something to me, I wouldn't have cared anyway. What are you gonna do? Not have me on SmackDown next week? Like I did before SummerSlam last year? I'll go home. It doesn't matter to me. Let's see how they do without me." Reigns is unquestionably WWE's top superstar right now, and he knows it. And it's interesting that the Tribal Chief doesn't have to follow any kind of script like the rest of the roster. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.